Hey, I have been slowly chipping away at this large family cottage, and today we are starting to furnish it. If you haven't seen part one yet, click the link in the corner now because the speed build is about to begin. And thanks for slithering in. I hope you're having a great day or evening. Actually, now that I say that, I am curious what time it is while you're watching this video. Leave your answers in the comments down below so we can all know what time everyone is watching. But we are starting off in this kind of workshop area of the build. Well, I guess you can call it a workshop, studio, and shop. I thought having a place to make and sell creations would be a good use of this space. So over here we're starting with lots of display shelves. This is where I think most of the shopping would be done. We're going to get lots of plants up here, maybe some pottery type creations and things. And it turns out really super cute in my opinion. If you don't want to use this as like a storefront or a shop or anything, you could use it as maybe an additional greenhouse. There is another one in the back of the build that you're going to see later, but you can use another greenhouse here if you need the space, or an art studio. Even though part of this does become an art studio, you can use it for maybe more dining space, maybe more seating space. Literally anything you might need in here, you can definitely renovate it to your heart's desire. Speaking of which, this furnished part is not up on the gallery just yet. It will be once we completely finish everything. So you may notice from the title or the thumbnail of this video, this is actually part 2 out of 3 of my little build series here for this large cottage. Part 1 was the exterior build because there was just so much footage of it. And then part 2 here is the first floor being furnished. The reason being that we're breaking it up is because like I said, I have been chipping away slowly at this build, like so slowly, going in and out of like being inspired to do something with it. I think I'm just more so intimidated at how much needs to be done in here. So we are getting there slowly but surely. And yeah, part 3 will come out when that is ready, and that'll be furnishing the rest of the build, like the bedrooms and more like other type of areas. Anyway, here is the other part of our little workshop. This is more where the studio comes in handy, and maybe you can even like hold classes or mentor Sims here. If you have businesses and hobbies, this is great. We have a fully functioning pottery studio over here. I think there's like some art easels right outside the door so you can have your Sims paint. I get a couple of woodworking benches in here too, and then we're just gonna decorate the heck out of this spot. I thought it came out super cozy, and honestly, I would not mind hanging out here, especially like those summer days when like the weather's just so nice. You have the doors propped open, maybe some of the windows open. It just looks so fun. Over here we get some cabinetry so that we can store some supplies and maybe completed projects or projects in the works. I thought this was super cute. I cannot remember where this like hutch item comes from on the top of my head. It looks like it could be like a horse ranch, but it could be a for rent too. I don't know. Maybe it's businesses and hobbies too. No, I don't think it is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop trying to guess because I did not limit any of my pack usage, so I should also say that up front. As you can see, we are pulling out a lot of different items from the artist studio kit and things of that nature, so it is very much not pack limited. Surprise, surprise, there are new kits coming to The Sims 4, and it's a collaboration this time with Netflix to bring Bridgerton to the game. I am curious to know your thoughts on both the build kit and Create a Sim kit. I believe they are available as a bundle. I personally am not too inspired by them. I'm not a Bridgerton fan. I just haven't invested any time into reading the books or watching the show, even though I know I will probably like it. I've also been feeling kind of burnt out from all the Sims news and updates recently, and I'm finding myself okay with enjoying the game as is or finding more joy in other games, which make appearances on this channel from time to time here, so maybe you have seen some of those, but they have been honestly really getting me through. the last few months, to be frank with you. For example, Paralyze will be in early access later this month, and I'm really excited to dive into that a little bit, but we should probably get back to the build. The workshop part is pretty much completed. There are a couple of woodworking benches in here, and there's another one outside of the greenhouse on the other side of the lot. I think realistically, that would be so convenient if you're someone always working on a DIY project. The rest of this space is going to get the clutter treatment. We've got empty garden pots, stains on the floor, and some plants. We'll also grab some lighting. I think the lighting I use is from the restoration kit as well. I really love that one for like spaces like this or garages. I just think it's so realistic and common to see. But next we will do the same cluttering treatment for the shop area. I imagine the Sims here could open the shop up at peak harvest season, sell their fruits, veggies, and flowers to their neighbors. It would also be a great way to earn some extra simoleons in the game too. But we've got a lot of different items here, from garden to table, tea time solarium, and garden haven kits and or stuff packs. I cannot remember all of those at the top of my head, and I feel like I say that a lot, so apologies there. But we fill this up. We end up just keeping a single table here. These are from cats and dogs, and then I toy around with adding a bench, but for the most part we keep it like this. We're just going to center it a little bit better, but then we're going to move on to one of the first rooms in our main house, and we're going to start with the office slash study area, which I really enjoy how it came out. This is where the color scheme for most of the rooms begins. I fell in love with this cats and dogs curtain, and later I'll even find a rug that I feel like ties into it pretty well. Against the wall we have a ton of bookcases from Life and Death, and I paired it with a desk from the same exact pack. The chair I use though is from Crystal Creations, and honestly I wish I remembered this more often because I feel like it helped bring in some of that old school charm that I just love so much. Here's the rug I found with greens and yellows. This one comes with Royalty and Legacy. It's such a cute little swatch with lemons on it, which felt like a nod to the outdoorsy lifestyle the Sims lead. But what office isn't complete without a fireplace and a reading nook? So that's what we're going to work on next. I personally would love to have a reading nook with a fireplace one day. I think if I ever do, that's how I know I have made it. We also pair it with this gorgeous plant. I love this plant from, I think that's the Sleek Bathroom Kit, and the cats and dogs painting on top too. And then I keep these chairs, I believe, or something similar. I use a yellow chair and a green pillow. Speaking of reading, I have been recently reading through the Zodiac Academy books. I am currently on book 5 and I just cannot put it down. That's one of the reasons why I've been kind of in and out of this build a lot, because there are some nights after work where I'm just like, I should sim and maybe work on this build or something, but all I gotta do, or all I really want to do, is figure out what is going on with Tori and Darcy and the heirs and Orion, and I'm just livid. Okay, no spoilers here, but if you are a Zodiac Academy fan, definitely let me know. And yeah, reading this year, if you're a reader and if you're into all of like the fantasy novels and books and things, there's a lot coming out later this year, and I'm scared. I'm terrified actually, but I think it's going to be good, and my reading log is getting full to the brim. I don't know how I'm ever going to finish my TBR. It's going to be hard. So I was trying to figure out what to put over in this corner, and I ended up deciding to do this family tree whiteboard thingamajig, and I think I keep that globe bar in here as well. So that gives us a little bit of kind of activities happening in here other than using the computer, and maybe the Sims here are really into their lineage. I don't know, we are in the world that came with Royalty and Legacy, and I cannot remember the world name for the life of me, but we are just going to skip right past that. We're going to start on the bathroom here. This is the only bathroom I do on camera, and all of the other ones look exactly the same. Okay, I hate to say this, but when I put the unfurnished version on the gallery, I went to the drop downs that show how many bedrooms and bathrooms a build has, and I literally had to put 6, 7. I'm sorry, I know that is so old and not cool anymore, but I just had to share that tidbit with you because it was so funny. And in the moment, I just sat there and I was like, oh my god, I am so cringe right now. It's awful. But anyway, the bathrooms are probably the most modern looking rooms in the build so far, and I'm not too mad about it. The dark colors and fun tiling also makes it feel pretty classy. I use a lot of sleek countertops and this sink from businesses and hobbies as well, and lots of pretty trendy maybe decor like big plants and soap dispensers, new lighting fixtures, etc. Overall, I really like how the bathrooms came out, and I would not be mad if this was my bathroom. So that's kind of a big deal, in my opinion. We're just going to get some artwork up here, and then we're going to move on to the living room. And I really like how the living room came out, actually. Of course, we need to add another fireplace. We have the space for it, we might as well. And then we're going to pick out some green curtains. I end up using these base game ones because they're rounded and they fit the windows that I used a little better. And then just to add a little more interest with the fireplace, we put it up on a platform. And then we're going to get some seating. I lean into some of the new-ish couch sets from one of the new kits, but I can't remember which kit. So I know it's not the refined living room, it's whatever came after that. But I really like these sofas. And like I said, it kind of starts blending in some modern pieces with the old, like, vintage classic kind of pieces. Like, we're gonna get this rug here. I think this one is from Growing Together. I love the floral bits on here. I feel like it meshes well with like the yellow creamish gingham wallpaper that we have going on. And then this coffee table, I believe, is from Jungle Adventure or maybe Seasons, one of those packs. I just love it. And honestly, I love it so much that I noted down that I think I want to find something similar for my house because we are working on redecorating and renovating, and I think that would just look so cute on our porch, maybe. Like, we have a um, it's not screened in, it's walls. There's just walls. It's kind of more sunroom than porch, I guess, but not like big windows. It's like your regular windows. Anyway, I don't know why we're stumbling over that, but that's where my head went when I was building this. And then over here in this corner, we get a chess table so that we have some activity things to do in here and just to fill up the space nicely. I could have put just bookcases everywhere. Like, honestly, I could, and I probably would if I really wanted to, but I refrained myself because we have a lot in the office and we get some more in like a hallway and even more in the dining room. Like, the Sims here probably really love to read because I'm probably going to put a lot more in the rest of this build too. I mean, we have so much room to fill up, but on this table behind the sofa, we get some cute little clutter pieces, a basket with blankets, pictures, etc. But we're gonna move on to the kitchen now. I was really nervous about this kitchen actually because it is so big. Like, it is humongous. I usually like to keep my kitchen somewhat on the smaller side because of, I don't know, it just gets weird to me once you start putting a bunch of different counters and cabinets and wrapping things around. So I was trying to fill up the space, but also not make it look kind of weird-ish. So of course we needed to add like a large island piece here, and we're gonna finagle this a little bit because I tried putting a half wall to make this look interesting. Didn't like that we had some bits of it like sticking out on either end, so I was like, oh, what about a curved one? I don't use curved islands as often, so that would be fun. And now I'm like, well, now it looks weird with these cabinet pieces or these counter pieces and the island pieces, and it kind of has like this little indent in it. I end up keeping it, but watching it back, I'm wondering if I should have just used island pieces all around because I think a sink will still slot into it. So I've actually written that down since this build is not up on the gallery just yet. I have time to fix this. So I'm going to try that and we'll report back in part 3. There's also something else that I need to add too. I realized when I did like the stove and oven area, which we're doing here, we do a double stovetop, but I did not put an oven. Eek. Oops. My bad. So I'm gonna have to find a place for that. That'll probably either go under one of these burners or both of these burners. I can't remember if that is even functional anymore. For a while, I don't think it was. So I'll have to play test it, and if not, we have plenty of other cabinets I can stick an oven into. And then there was something else I wanted to add. Oh, I have add litter box too, because I imagine maybe these Sims would have probably some pets. You have enough space for it. So I have to find a place for a litter box. But here is our double stove moment. We're going to continue like the same curtain theme into the kitchen that we had in the living room with these green ones. We get this shelf from Eco Lifestyle to kind of try and break up the, I don't know, the window placement a little bit. I think we get a statue up top. I don't remember which one I keep. Oh, I get this one with like the little chicken and eggs. I thought that was a little more accurate than the dog one. And that's where I actually end up putting a pet bowl over there as well. So that'll be that. And then in this corner, I end up doing like a little coffee station, which I think was super cute. I cannot wait to have like an official coffee station to make it cute and stuff. Like, I just want to put my mugs on display and have coffee all the time, and it's gonna be so cool. I'll share pictures once we have that all together. But yeah, we just add some clutter pieces here. There's a lot of tea trays and coffee clutter with a lot of the recent packs and kits and things we've had. And I get like these food containers thinking like, oh, maybe it's like sugar and creams and kind of that nature. I later end up finding the one from the Wonderland kit. There's like a sugar and cream little teacup, saucer cup kind of things. So those also end up over there. And that's probably the only item I use from that kit. So if you don't have it, no worries, because it'll just disappear and you'll never even know anything was missing because they're so small. But the rest of this kitchen, I get more clutter. We get a microwave. Over in the other corner, I really struggled. I just tried to put those tall cabinets there, but I didn't know what to do with there. So I end up just putting a walk-in closet from Get Together, kind of thinking like it's a pantry, but also it's another woohoo spot in case your Sims need another woohoo spot, you know? So hopefully you guys enjoy that as well. And then we just get my typical clutter. From here, we get cats and dogs in the corner to kind of try and make like this weird shelf kind of vibe here. I've done that a few times, merging it into the cabinets. Then we get paper towels, a bread box. You can see them all kind of scattered around right now. We use a lot from cool kitchen stuff, from the kitchen clutter kit, from Home Chef Hustle, you name it. Any kitchen type pack, we've used it. And it was really fun. I really liked kind of adding everything in together. Something else I can't believe about this kitchen is that it has 2 refrigerators. Can you imagine having 2 refrigerators? Like, especially in this economy, I can barely keep my one refrigerator full half the time because it's so expensive these days and it's just kind of ridiculous. So, but I guess it helps for these Sims here because they literally have their own farm. So they can fill it up pretty easily, I suppose. Anyway, this next room we're working on is the dining room, and this is where we're going to deviate from the color scheme that I have already been doing throughout the house. I don't know why I tend to do this. I tend to really stick to a color scheme and then figures at some point. Usually it doesn't happen until I get to the bedrooms, but today it happened here in the dining room because I wanted to use this wallpaper, and then when I was picking out chairs to go with this dining table, I was playing with this like cats and dogs one here for like the end chairs because I like doing that. I like mixing and matching the chairs. But as you can see, I picked out two swatches here, and I'm letting them kind of sit and marinate a little bit while I think about it. I do end up using the purple one, or the chair with the purple floral cushion, and kind of go crazy with that one. So yikes. But I really like it, so this definitely takes more of a purpley hue kind of color scheme, but overall I still think it's super cute. Over in this corner, I'm actually very proud of it. I actually posted it on my Instagram stories the night I decorated this because I was just, I don't know, there was something about it. And it all starts with the gallery wall I put up here. I get two base game pictures. Well, actually, it's three, but these two with like the fancy frames, I get them in the green swatch. And then this next one in just its base brown swatch. And then I pair it with the dine out plant and a cottage living chair, and I add some pillows to it, and I just absolutely freaking adore it. Like, just that little moment, that's why I love this game so much. I love taking something as simple as like two tiles and just making it look cute, you know? So I really enjoyed it. And then next to that, we get an end table with some clutter. We get a lamp, some pictures. I think we get like a vegetable basket. I get some clutter on the center of the dining room table, a plant, and like that table necklace bead thing. I'm not quite sure what that's for. If you guys know, let me know, because I don't know. I just know people do it. Question mark? Shrug? I don't know. So let me know, you know, educate me a little bit. And then we get a magazine rack next to the chair, thinking like that would be a kind of cool place to just, if you're just sitting to kill some time, pick up a magazine and you're good to go. For the light fixture though, I did use this one from the fairy pack. That might be one of the only items I use from that pack now that I'm thinking about it, unless I'm forgetting something. But I kind of really liked throwing that like fairy tale element into this build. I think it added some charm and interest too, and it would definitely be a conversational piece. I imagine that maybe it was a DIY project too, like maybe there was a tree or something on the lot before that they had to cut down, or lost a branch or a limb or whatever you call it. So, and maybe they just turned it into a light fixture because they're just so darn handy. And I envy people who can do stuff like that. Like, I have ideas, but executing them, no, I'm not that great at it. Like, I could never really cut a piece of paper in a straight line, and maybe even barely color in between the lines. So it is what it is. But anyway, over here in the rest of this dining room, right now I have a fish tank that ends up going to the hallway later, so we get rid of that because I wanted a bar here somehow, and I really like this bar back from Adventure Awaits. I just like the wood texture, and I felt like it worked for this build. So I found the matching bar, but I couldn't really find a good place for it. So instead, I get rid of the fish tank and I put it here up against the wall. It's still functional, you just can't have Sims sitting on the other side of it. We just get a couple of pieces of art above it, and then that's pretty much a wrap here for the dining room, I think. And then we're gonna move into the greenhouse, but I guess we're gonna grab some plants first because we cannot leave without adding another plant. Oh, and I get the dog toy storage here too. And this is where I was like, oh, we can definitely have some things for pets around here too. And that is very, very important. So let's move on now to the greenhouse. I really, really enjoyed this greenhouse. Maybe you might want a bigger one later down the road. You could probably expand it. You might just have to delete some of like the landscaping and stuff. I think there's room to play with it, but I loved using these vertical planters here to kind of utilize the tall walls we have here. And then I get these cubbies from, that is Dream Home Decorator. And I was actually pleasantly surprised because usually when I try to use these, they just have such a harsh shadow on them where I just can't use them and it just looks so bad. So I'm really happy in this case that they did work here. It takes me a minute to really find the flow or the layout of this room a little bit, so bear with me. I did know for sure that I wanted a flower arranging table in here. Here is where I pulled out another woodworking bench, but I'm going to put that outside, kind of thinking like, oh, maybe they don't want all the dust in this room. I don't know, but also I can't really fit in here, especially if I wanted to have some garden planters in here. I said that's so weird. I'm so sorry. It is getting late for me. Um, but anyway, we get these two garden planters out here, and then I'm just gonna clutter the space up with lots of plants. We're gonna use some from Snowy Escape, some from the greenhouse, or the plant kit is what I'm thinking about. But I'm looking at it now and realizing that this is a glass roof, so I don't know what that plant is hanging onto. So I'm also going to go back into this build and check that out and figure something out and make that work. And then to add a little bit of charm, we end up using these businesses and hobbies string lights. I thought that was so cute and sweet, kind of romantic too. It's kind of pretty. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think. And then we're just gonna clutter the heck out of these shelves with empty planters, with artwork, with storage boxes, you name it, it's probably here. There's even some items in the Greenhouse Haven kit, I believe, that are like little spray bottles, and we get like some watering cans around. It ends up turning out pretty neat, I think. So, really fun. We even have a couple of those planters that came with the fairy pack. I think it's the fairy pack, the houseplant ones. I don't know if those would technically be functional here, but then again, if you do try to have a sim use them, they'll probably just clip into the shelving a little bit as they grow, I would assume. So, I don't know, proceed with caution, I suppose. But maybe I should test that too. I should add that to my list. I think I will. I'll try and remember that. And yeah, the rest of the clutter here is just a bunch of other garden clutter. And then I even go in and grab some like floor stains to make it look really dirty around here, because I was like, the brick in here just looks too good. It can't be that good in here because this is a messy workplace. So we're gonna add some of those dirt piles around and stains right here. I think I use the ones from the Basement Treasures kit and the restoration kit. I've said that a million different times in this video, and I've probably said it differently each time. I'm just bad with words. That's just my life. Anyway, we are working on the final room now in this build. It is just a long, gigantic, wide hallway. And this one I was struggling with, so I went to my favorite people. Well, not just my only favorite people, because you guys are my favorite people too. I'm rambling. But on my Instagram broadcast channel that I call the Cozy Coil, if you're interested, come join. But I went there to ask for some advice or ideas of what I could do here, and I got a lot of cozy ideas like adding fluffy rugs and shoe storage and some tall cabinets or bookshelves, which I'm going to put over here. And then ultimately, I think I figured it out. We do have the fish tank over here too, and then I know, I'm putting another chest table down. And I realized when I was taking the screenshots that I did that again, even though there's literally one in the living room, like 10 steps away. So I get rid of this one and I end up putting a grand piano in that corner instead, which you'll see in the screenshots at the end, which I should mention I am going to hold off the playtesting until part 3 when this whole thing is furnished, so I can just do it all in one go. So until then, I will just have some screenshots of what the build is currently looking like on this first floor anyway. So hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. So we're just gonna wrap that up, get a couple of chairs out here as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so that you're notified when part 3 comes out. And of course, as always, a big shout out to my channel members. I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!
I've climbed the mountains in Montana, danced in the lights of New Orleans. Portland ran away with me, and San Francisco stayed with me. Nashville made its way in between. Fell in love in Minnesota, GShade.